the end of the day, as humans, we evolve, and as long as we are living our purpose, we continue to reinvent ourselves. So we are in continuous growth.
Karla Blanco, bienvenida.
We really need to ensure we are consistently strengthening our resilience. People that are resilient, they don't isolate themselves. Look for others, connect with others. I am an introvert, so it's hard for me, but I learned that I need to reach out and connect with others.
So it's that human experience, right? Those relationships that takes time to build.
When you see the news, it's so challenging that just thinking about how am I going to be the change for the world, start with your family, start with your friends, with your circle. So it's from within and get to know yourself first.
Welcome back to the Future Human Experience. I am so excited to not only welcome my friend, but an author and a fellow speaker, Karla Blanco, to the Future Human Experience. Bienvenida.
Thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to share in your podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Karla. Well, we've known each other for years now, and I've seen not only your passion on bringing your message to the rest of the world, but most recently, you've been doing some fantastic work on not only writing a book in English and in Spanish, but also sharing your message with audiences all around the world in speakerships. Let's start off with this fantastic book. Share with us a little bit more about this.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Well, in 2017, I moved into the US with my son Andres. I was chasing my dream job. I landed that dream job while having a lot of fun. We landed in May, and by November, the dream was shattered. I lost my job. And that day, I went into a regular meeting with my boss. And when I saw him opening a letter, as he started reading, I asked him, "Are you firing me?" Well, fast forward, went home and told my son, "We may need to go back to Costa Rica." My son was really happy here. He joined the high school biking team and had all his friends. So he looked at my eyes and told me, "Mom, if you have to go back, go. I will stay." And this bear mama, look at him and promised him, "I will fight to keep us here." And in the middle of that struggle, an opportunity to write a book knocked on my door. And Eric, the last chapter titled Resilience was my lifeline. Because after that, I landed a job and also created my business. But as I landed the job, my business was more like on the side as a hobby. I was serving in the company that I used to work for. And my mentees from all Latin America before coming to US, I was looking also in ways to serve them. And the book is a toolkit of everything, all the learnings that I gathered throughout the years and the inspiration from the giants that really help us also, that gave us a hand to move forward. Those mentors, sponsors, coaches that we had on our careers. So that's basically the story behind the book.
Oh my God, that is beautiful. And Karla, you've now had an opportunity to not only release the book in English and in Spanish, but on this journey, as people have been sharing with you their stories on how they've been applying this, what have you learned on this journey about how this book is not only helping people, but also what would you love to add to this book one day?
Yes, thank you for that question, because by connecting with people, always some things come. Well, and a second book, I'm writing a second book, but there is something very specific to this book, which I added to my talks and to my masterminds, which is the purpose. Because the first thing, or the first tool, is to take a look into your day-to-day during a week, so that you can assess how are you investing your time and redesign your schedule so that your schedule serves to your purpose. but I didn't have a process on the book that now I created, and are very simple questions. The number one is, who are you?
Mm.
What are your unique talents? The third question, who will who you will serve with those talents? The fourth is, what is the problem that this person has? And the fifth is, how the life of this person will change after leveraging your talents. So that's how you define your purpose. Once you have your purpose, you can define your vision. How do you see yourself in 10 years or in the future? And then the mission, how you will get there. So the purpose is something that I would add to probably an next version of this book.
And Carla, with that said, I mean, what you're sharing with me too, it reminds me of this conversation I have too with a fellow friend of mine, Jamie Cassup. He shares with me, don't ask kids what they want to be when they grow up. Actually ask them what problem they want to go solve.
Yes.
And with that said, as you've been on this journey of also helping folks find their purpose and unleashing our potential, what guidance, or do you have any advice now, either for parents or for young professionals that, you know, when we talk about the next generation, what would be your guidance or any advice that you might have for them? Even as a mom today of Andres, who's a wonderful adult, a young adult, I would say. I wouldn't even call him a kid. Is there anything there too on that you've been on this journey that you're like, man, you know what? If I could share this with parents, if I could share this with young professionals about purpose, it would be this.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Yes, some weeks ago, I was with a group of girls called Stand Power, and they feel a lot of pressure because I don't know if you recall when we were kids, people asking, what do you want to do when you grow up? And then we say, I would like to be, I don't know, a pilot or whatever. So I would say that let kids dream and young people dream. Many times we become realistic of what you can be. And actually, when you allow, and this is part of the process that I use when we define objectives, is to dream big. Because you don't know what connections you will be able to make. And also, don't think that, for example, I did a study customs administration. I'm really far away from that. At that moment, when I picked my career, it was based on the context and the circumstances. But at the end of the day, as humans, we evolve. And as long as we are living our purpose, we continue to reinvent ourselves. So we are in continuous growth. That is something that I think is important, so that you don't feel that pressure. Oh, I will be engineer and I will do this for the rest of my life. Well, engineers solve problems, and I will love many more engineers in my life. But also, there are many different experiences that they can integrate to what they become. So this is life is an amazing journey.
Yeah. With that said, Carlos, I mean, it seems that you are asking us all to be like these lifelong learners.
Exactly.
With that said, you started off our conversation today on sharing with us this powerful moment in your career where, you know, you had this very, you know, clear plan of where you were going, and that plan had to suddenly change. But because of your son, you recentered yourself, you found that purpose and why you wanted to do and how you wanted to take, you know, this event in your life and turn it into an opportunity, which came up to be this wonderful book. With that said too, what encouragement do you give folks today, right? That as they're navigating, it seems that today we're in this era of constant change, exponential changes. Technology seems to be, you know, we have a new technology revolution, seems like every other week or so. And so you create this sense of individuals feeling either disconnected or feeling left behind. What have you seen, or what do you encourage people today that they're not feeling that connected either to what they're doing, or they're probably a little bit concerned about where their job might be going, for them to find themselves and say, hey, you know, I can still find this purpose. And regardless of how the world is moving around me, if I stick with this purpose, I could still continue to go through it. Any insights on that, or what have you seen today in this space?
Yes, Eric, sometimes when we think, there is a quote that I love from Gandhi, be that change that you want to see in the world. And sometimes when we think about the world and all the changes and all that, when you see the news, it's so challenging that just thinking about how am I going to be the change for the world, because the world seems to be huge. Just focus on your, start with your family, start with your friends, with your circle, closer circle, to be how you would like to be treated in the world, treat the others, how you would like people to connect you with others. So it's from within, and get to know yourself first. We gotta ensure that we know ourselves. When I was a kid, my mom used to tell me, love yourself, love yourself. And I was like, what is, I didn't understand. Later, as I grew up, I learned that getting to know you is how you know yourself, because we need to get out of our way to grow, embedding discipline in everything we decide to move forward, and ensure we acquire the different tools to continue growing. So when you think about resilience, and that is something critical, because of all the different crises that deepen after pandemic, the environment, the health, etc. So we really need to ensure we are consistently strengthening our resilience. There is a study from University of Chicago that they found that people that are resilient, they don't isolate themselves. So that's the number one thing that I will tell people when they think this is so heavy and so difficult. Well, don't isolate. Look for others, connect with others. I am an introvert, so it's hard for me, but I learned that I need to really reach out and connect with others. Have the clarity that everything is in a moment and everything changes. So this may be a very difficult moment, but it will change over time. It depends on your attitude and how you approach that moment, how fast you will get out of this difficult time. And I learned that from a very difficult situation, connected with a layoff many years ago. And what I learned from that group of people is that they, the ones that connected quickly with, okay, this is changing, I will connect with these people to find the next job, they move on faster. The others that were complaining, thinking this is not fair, etc., it was really hard for them. So I learned from that. And when I was impacted, when I told you in 2017, I started reaching out, connecting, and jumping into the next opportunity. So it's really about connecting with each other. We are stronger together.
So it's that human experience, right? Those relationships that takes time to build, but you put the time into building those, even though at times they could feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you knew that if you could be of service to someone else, one day that either be reciprocal from that person or probably from someone else as well later on in your career.
Exactly.
Okay.
We connecting with humans is so important. And you need to add that to your calendar, because life is busy. And if you put 1 hour at the end of the week that you can connect 15 minutes with 4 different people, imagine in 52 weeks how many people you are connecting and you are nurturing the relationship, because you cannot wait till the difficult times come. You gotta keep the connection growing.
It reminds me, I remember I was part of this workshop one time and someone asked this question. They said, hey, what's the size of your network? And of course, being the nerdy person that I am, I raised my hand and I was like, how do you answer that? I said, well, Eric, how long, how big do you think your network is? And so, of course, I take out my phone thinking that's the way you answer it. And so I said, I have this amount of contacts. This is my network. And they're like, no, that's incorrect. I said, okay, well, this is my LinkedIn. These are how many people I'm connected with. That's my network. They're like, nope, that's incorrect too. I was like, okay, I really have no idea what you're trying to tell me. It's like, how big is my network then? Your network are those people that you're going to ask for their time in the next 24 hours. And they'll move everything around it so they can meet with you for the next 10, 15 minutes because you needed that time from them. And I was like, wow, I never looked at it that way.
I love it.
And that was just a different perspective of how they were identifying network. But then the next part of the question was like, how many of those people are in your life that either you make sure you're investing that time and nurturing that one, they're willing to move the time for you, but two, also who are you that for someone else?
Exactly.
Right? Whose answer or whose phone call are you going to answer in the next 24 hours and say, I will move time for you, right? And those people, they'll change in time, and that's okay. But it happens because you put time into that relationship, right? It just doesn't happen all of a sudden, or because you have a great connection on LinkedIn, or even because you worked, right? Maybe in the same organization, the same team, or what have you. It takes time to build that relationship. And so it reminds me, I still remember how you and I met. We met at an employee resource group event.
Yes.
And so it happens that we're sitting right next to each other.
Yes, it was so much fun, right?
Yes. And then we just start building a relationship. And then you notice that even, again, as you were sharing, just take time to go and connect with people, right? I'm sure that time when we met, we probably had 10,000 other things that we had to do in our day job or what have you, but we said, we're going to invest 30 minutes into ourselves, into our leadership development, into our network. We ended up sitting next to each other that day, and I remember you were going through some changes, and I was able to make some connections there too. But it was not only a blessing that we were able to connect, but you never know who you're able to connect with if you don't take that first step, right? And go into these rooms that sometimes they might feel, okay, I'm just too busy for it, but when you make time for it, it can be extremely rewarding later on in your career.
And something that is really important is to share what you need. Actually, I think that time was in 2017 when I was, or early 2018, when I just received the news. So you really helped me to connect with others. So definitely because many times we go connect what we don't say, what we do, what are our accomplishments, so people can know what are our strengths. And we need to tell people what we want or what I aspire to. Yes. Because if I tell what I aspire to, you don't know which connections the other person have that can help you foster your career and accelerate your goals.
Yeah, I mean, people are there to help each other, right? Exactly. And the best way you're able to help those people that want to help you is just share with them a little bit more about what's your purpose. And I remember that day when we met, it was very clear, that mission-driven work that you were on. And so it became super clear, okay, cool. These are the 5 people that we could connect to today that I know. And then of course that will just grow in time, right? As you continue to grow your network and what have you, we could find some more opportunities. But yes, I remember that too. When we first met, you shared your purpose.
Exactly.
You shared your purpose. And that was very good for all of us to know, because we could be better service to each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So be open, connect, and keep growing.
That's it. With that said too, Karla, anything that you want to give us, either some guidance or something that even, on this journey you've been on unleashing our potential, unleashing our leadership, what does that mean for you today? And what does that mean as we enter into this new year, about unleashing, ourselves and unleashing our potential? What does that mean to you that, that you've been on this journey over the last few years, and for audience members as well?
To continue growing, I love your mission to put technology at the service of enhancing people experiences. We all need to embrace that, because definitely technology unleashes our potential too. So that's what I will say. Be open to continue growing and learn about technology so that you can continue scaling your footprint in communities, in countries, and around the globe.
Awesome. I love that. So Karla, one of the things that also gets me excited about our conversation is that people will be watching this and listening to this at the beginning of 2025. What has you excited about this new year and about the work that you're going to be leading in 2025?
Well, I am so excited about this year because I'm starting the year with some keynotes talking about the skills of the future. Yes. And helping people defining their blueprint to success. Okay. So definitely, I'm really excited about that. It's also already International Women's Day is around the corner. I'm heading to Puerto Rico for the keynote there, and my new book being launched. So my podcast, Unleash Leadership, which I'm sure your audience will love to hear your interview. So it's a very exciting year. I see this as an expansive year or a
Oof.
year of growth.
Yes, I love that, Karla. Well, we'll make sure we're adding any notes, but we'll make sure we have that also by the end of the episode. With that said, too, Karla, one of the things we love to do with our guests is ask if there are any what we call blind questions for me. So yeah, feel free to let me know what has you curious about of me or my journey.
I'm curious about if you pay attention to me and tell us about
Yeah.
your purpose. So I know your mission, but
Yeah.
that mission will take you to your purpose. So what would you say is your purpose?
My purpose, and using those skill sets or how you were breaking that down. I love what you do, right? On you helping us break that down. One of the things that I get connected with is how do we look at the world just from a little bit different expansive perspective. I go back to a little kid in Ecuador as a 7th grader, right? And I saw technology, not necessarily for the first time, but I saw it unleashed or differently for the very first time. And I think today we're in this era that, again, technology is changing constantly around us. And I've again, maybe it's this muscle I built at a very early age that when I look at those headlines, I just look at those like an opportunity. I'm like, wow, that's great. Let's go and learn about that. And I know that's, maybe just a muscle that I've gotten very comfortable in building, but it's not impossible for other people to build it as well. And so that's where I think I could be much more thoughtful about why I'm having these conversations with people, is to help them understand all these changes that are happening around us, like you shared with us so brilliantly too, is how do we look at these like opportunities, right? To unleash ourselves and to be our full selves. I think that's where I've been really trying to put my purpose into this space. And also why me, I think it's also is because I was that boy that I've been into these different spaces and I've seen technology to be of service to me, but I've also seen technology implemented in a way that's probably not the most meaningful. And I would look back at those moments and say, what can we learn from them so we could share these stories with others and these insights with others so we can make sure we avoid those, those same paths. And so I would say that's been, something that I've been working on to make sure I bring that to life in not only my talks, but my relationships that I have with organizations and with customers all around the world.
Well, your superpower is you are a connector. You connect people with people with technology, and people with opportunities. So thank you, Eric. It's amazing to be here.
Thank you so much, Karla. I know one of the conversations we've had too offline has been when we have those ability to connect with others, but also how do we become of service to others too, right? And that sometimes we're just over here thinking, okay, how can I just help this one person? But we know that you and I, we've been connected because we have much more impact that we want to make. And so I'm very grateful for your friendship, for your mentorship, for your guidance on this journey too. I'm so excited for what 2025 has for you. With that said, how can people connect with you? How can people find your book? Tell us a little bit more.
Well, the book is in Amazon, also in Barnes & Noble, in many places. But people can connect with me in my website, www.karla, with a K, karlablanco.com, or on LinkedIn, Karla Blanco 1 is my LinkedIn, or on Instagram too. And wonderful. I know you have the links for people. So
we'll put all that in the show notes. And I could share with all of y'all, Karla's a fantastic follower. You're always adding value, sharing insights with the rest of us. Thank you so much, Karla, for sharing with all of us your purpose, your mission, and for calling us all to unleash our potential and our leadership. Thank you so much, Karla Blanco, for being with us today.
Oh, thank you, Eric, and thank you to your audience.
Hey everyone, this is Eric, the host of the Future Human Experience. The reason why this podcast was created was to be a platform for others to really bring these conversations to life. So if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. It will really help our channel and expose these ideas for others. Thank you.